What is going on? Top of a Tuesday morning or afternoon to you. You have found yourself back with me, ABC, in the HPP, Adam Benjamin Coleman, in the Human Performance Project. Today I'm doing an at-home workout, starting with a little bit of kettlebell work. So some of them are new movements to me, so bear with me as far as form and all that good stuff. But I'm going to do a 3-part circuit to get kind of warmed up and get going. And then we'll move on from there. The focus is going to be shoulders, and the power movements are going to be standing barbell press and hang cleans. But first, a side bend to a shrug, a pop clean to a trunk twist, and a crossbody pickup. This is one of the new movements. So it's a side bend with a shrug added to it at the end. I'm using a 55-pound kettlebell. I was originally going to use a 35 for form's sake, and then I remembered that you need to use your testicles too, just like the rest of your muscles, or they die. So I nutted up and grabbed the 55-pounder. So now a pop clean to a torso rotation. My hands are sweaty. Here, you a towel. All right. And then, last but certainly not least, the cross-body pickup. Mama told me manners, yes sir, no man. If you want clean money, then you keep some dirty hands. Somebody needs help, get the shirt up off your back. Say grace before we eat, know that family's where it's at. Still hate the same corner store, that's where I buy my explosives. When times get tough, they still front you when you're broke. Times change, people change, but not me. My hands on my heart, cause these colors don't bleed. This is the land I love. You can't take this from me. From the city to the country, everybody race up from Florida to Oak Creek. Alright, so there's one round. And again, this is kind of a total body warm-up. So for about a 30-second rest here, I'm just going to hang from a pull-up bar with an overhand grip. And I'm just letting gravity do its work and basically be the same principle as an inversion table for your spine. You can even back up and bow yourself a little bit, stretch your lower abs, hip flexors. Take some deep breaths. Work on that diaphragmatic mobility, making sure you can breathe to your fullest capacity.
So I'm actually going to utilize a wrap for this side bend and shrug, not because my grip is failing, but because it's going to be, these are slippery without gloves on, and I don't wear gloves when I work out. So it's really more for that. I'm going to take them off for the pop clean and the crossbody pickups. So I'm going to start on my left side actually, since I started on the right side with my first set. And I'm just wrapping these around enough to give me a little bit of grip support and something to soak up the sweat on the kettlebell so that I don't end up slipping and dropping it, and I can focus on my obliques and my traps and not my grip. There's a fine line between making things easier on yourself and just lifting smarter sometimes by using an aid like a belt or a wrap. You never want to take the easy way out, but anytime you can work smarter, not harder, especially when you're 40 years old, it's an option you want to utilize. Fuck it, you don't even have to be 40. Shit, start now when you're 20. You'll save yourself the time. It's easy to talk shit when you can't see 20, 25 years into the future, so play the long game, boys and girls. It can all be taken away in an instant, so enjoy the ride. I'm gonna go ahead and do the crossbody pickups second, and then the pop clean and rotation last. I think that's 3. Kind of got lost there. Now, the hardest of those 3 movements. Make sure you got good foot planted, your feet both planted well, sorry. About hip width apart, slightly pointed out. Butt down, head and chest up. Yeah. There's one. The reason I rock back and forth on my heels and toes is to make sure that my weight is evenly distributed. It's easy to get to a point where you're letting your weight fall forward and your heels start to come off the ground, and then you lose the use of your hamstrings and glutes, the bigger, what should be stronger muscles in the movement. So entertain yourselves for a moment. I'm gonna go get my water. My water is pink because it has those liquid IV packets in it, which are just electrolytes and some micronutrients, some vitamins and minerals. I did just order some creatine today from EFX company, which I am now an ambassador for. So I'll be putting my link out, and I invite you guys to use that for a hefty little discount on any of their good products, which they have a huge. The reason I decided to go with them as far as brand loyalty is because I feel like they have one of the best plethoras or selections of total supplements to choose from. They have a little something for everyone, no matter what your goals are or what your nutritional and dietary standards are and needs, whether it's vegetarian, vegan, you know, meathead, whatever it is. They have something for everybody, which is good because I'm a little bit of everything. So I'm excited for that. Selfishly, just to start taking supplements again because I haven't in a long time, and also professionally because I'd like to just continue to grow and learn new things and network and meet new people and all that good stuff. So comment about any supplements that you're taking or are curious about. I do have a fair amount of knowledge and experience in supplements, hormones, research chemicals, things of that nature. So if it's ever something you'd like to talk about, even just for fun, I'm almost always willing. So you can comment after you like and subscribe here on the Human Performance Project. You can find me at refuse.conformity.11 on Instagram, or you can go to the Book of Face and find me just Adam Coleman. So choice is yours, but you can find me. You can reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, no question out of bounds. Just be ready for an honest answer to whatever it is that you ask me. So, next, we're going to do 2 more kettlebell movements. This we are going to start with a 35 to make sure I'm doing them right, because they are a hand-to-hand pass, which is going to go like so. Trying to keep your core fairly stabilized. And the other one is called the Kettlebell. So that one I believe it's like patting your head and rubbing your stomach. You really have to think about it for some reason. So, because I'm kind of frustrated with that effort, I'm just throwing this little auxiliary marching movement in. So I have some time to think about what I just did. Be patient with yourselves on your fitness mission. It's only failure if you aren't learning from your experiences. Doing things wrong, making mistakes, finding out what you like and what you don't like. Those are valuable, valuable, valuable resources as far as information. And they're ones that people try to avoid. But don't, like my very good friend and Jarhead used to tell me, embrace the suck. So at the point at which you're uncomfortable and feel a little bit insecure, just get used to being there until it's like home to you. In other words, make your weak points your strongest assets. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use a solid platform. We're super fancy around here, so these are like garden bricks that I'm using in my garage gym that smells like gasoline. Run what you brung. God, man, I got a stroke or something. No balance right now. I did do some sprints and some hills with my dogs in the park. Not an excuse, just a statement of fact. So I think my stabilizer muscles in my legs are a little bit pre-fatigued already. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself. That doesn't mean that we don't do it. Even if we have to adapt and spot ourselves to get the correct form and contraction, and there's always a plan B if plan A doesn't seem to be working on a particular day. So as you notice, I just switched my foot placement and how many feet I'm using and how I'm holding the kettlebell. But where I'm feeling it, whew, right where I was aiming the first time. So there's more than one way to torture a hamstring. I am determined to grow an axe. That is my goal. Genetically, the Coleman men, not known for our badonkadonks. So I got to break the cycle. My dad, as much as I love him, it looks like someone kicked his butt into his gut. And I don't want to do that when I'm old. He's 80, he has the right to look however the hell he wants, and he could probably still kick my ass. So I can't really mess with him too much about it, but it's just not the way I choose to look. Because I'm a much more high mileage model than he is, so I know when I'm 80, I'm probably not going to be moving around as easily without some assistance and some therapeutic corrective exercise and such. This much I know, which is why I'm starting now. 40 years should be a good head start. Since I spent the first 20 or so beating myself down, we'll take the next 40, build ourselves up. It's a good thing I didn't spend all 40 building myself up, because then I'd just be hurting people's feelings and no one would have a chance to keep up. So, you're welcome. It's not cocky if you can back it up. I don't think I'm the coolest person in the world. I just know that I'm awesome. Woo! And I also know that I'm sweating. I've been making it a point lately to try to get some morning sunshine, morning being like before 11 a.m. And being bald and shirtless gives me obviously a greater area to soak up sun, and that sun gives us also vitamin D, several different skin benefits of melanin and influencing the kerasites, whatever they are, carotenoids, keeps your skin pigment healthy. provided you don't overdo it and give yourself melanoma. Do check your doctor and yourself if you start to see any lumps, bumps, moles that you didn't remember seeing lately, or they're a funny shape or funny texture, or they're like raised. If you see any of those, do go see a dermatologist ASAP. Probably not a big deal, but it's better to be safe and have it removed than to find out later when it's now spread to your bone marrow and your food bar. Okay? Cancer is not cool. It is stoppable, and I believe it's curable, but it is aggressive and ugly if not taken care of. And on that note, to anyone who has battled cancer, has family who has, which is, I know, probably almost all of you at this point, God bless you. I'm sorry for your struggle, and I hope that it's worked out well and that everyone is more peaceful and in a better place than where they started. So, I mean that with all my heart. There's friends that I've lost before they were even 40 years old from cancer. Testicular cancer. How does a guy not go to the doctor when he's got something wrong with his nuts? I mean, that's like the one thing we care about. Not one thing, but it's one of the things that we care most about. So I don't know, man. While I'm not a huge proponent of Western medicine per se, and that's really just lack of education, it's not the fault of the doctors, I do advocate going to get yourself checked out and at least screened regularly, because it's better to know and not need to do anything than need to do something and not know, you know? Knowledge is power. Knowledge will put you in a position where you don't have to work as hard, as long, or as intensely under as much pressure in any circumstance, whether we're talking about your health, whether we're talking about your profession, whether we're talking about your relationships, whether we're talking about your hobbies. It really doesn't matter. If you keep a consistent level of effort into it and really, really, really dot your I's, cross your T's, and just make sure you're paying attention to your business, you won't get as many catastrophic failures or upsets as you will otherwise. You can take that from my personal experience for what it's worth. So, anyway, I've wasted enough of our time. So I'm gonna go now, I'm gonna do a movement. I'm gonna do a halo, which it looks like this, okay, but I wanna do it with a reverse wood chopper motion. So we're gonna go up and around and back down and then the other way. Setting our posture, controlling the weight. We're gonna try it with a 55 and see what it do. That is heavy. Yeah, that's too heavy for that side. Probably could have done it, but I would like to not tear a labrum on YouTube. So, we live to lift another day. Alright, as promised, we do have some power movements coming. And I'm going to go ahead and just get into the hang cleans first, since the rack is already at the right height. I do still use safety clips on the sides of my barbells, unless I'm doing bench press by myself, and there's a reason for that. But the safety clips, they keep the weights from moving around. Even if the weights transfer or move just a couple inches, that'll change the balance and leverage point on the barbell. And if we're talking about symmetry and pressure on joints, like shoulders, which are very sensitive, you don't want uneven weight distribution, right? So it's really not a question of it being like sissy or whatever. The reason I don't do it with bench press is because if an emergency happens and no one's here and the weight's on my chest, I want to be able to tilt and drop the plates off and not die. Because 8 people a year, give or take, actually do die working out by themselves. Never forget that there is some crazy shit that can happen, right? Like even in the most, what seems to be the most normal and routine of situations, that's usually when it happens. And man, Like, they make TV shows out of it for a reason, like 1001 Ways to Die. I'm not trying to be morbid, but we do need to respect the fact that to some extent the universe is still very, very random, and we have very little control over certain things that happen. So just having said that, don't live in fear. Just pay attention, you know? Just pay attention. That's all. Like, if I was going for some crazy max lift right now and I didn't have anyone here, I'd probably switch to a live feed, because then if things go horribly wrong, at least people see it. And at some point, someone's going to be like, this is live, it's still recording, I don't see anyone helping him, maybe we should try? So anyways, that's at least my thought process. So now we're going to get into some hang cleans. We're starting with 100 pounds, which is baby weight, but we're focusing on form, hip placement and hip mobility, as well as the evenness and symmetry of the grip of all 10 fingers, and then fundamentals, just the explosion, the snap, and the catch, all being equality. So you find that mid-balance point. I know some of you are probably asking, Adam, that looks pretty easy, why aren't you pressing it overhead? Well, like I said, I'm going to do the overhead press by itself today. And next week when I do shoulders, I'll probably tie it all together and do a hang clean and press. Probably. Or snatch. Something that involves overhead shoulder stability. I had to kneel down because I wasn't sure if I was going to pass out there for a second, so I was trying to cut down the distance to the floor. This workout is fasted, which is not something I normally do, but trying to do new things. It's not going to be a very long workout, so there will be carbohydrates in my near future. That much I can assure you. Even the pink drink there is sorbitol. It's a non-nutritive sweetener, and it does have leucine in it, but no carbohydrates. So I don't really know, like, can muscle synthesis be initiated when there's not insulin, glycogen, and the whole trifecta going on to start the growth and recovery process? I don't know. I'll have to find that out. Believe it or not, I do not know everything. Okay, I know that I think and claim that I'm the smartest man in the world, but that's kind of situational and momentary. The moments are far and few between, and the situations are almost non-existent. I feel like those last two are ugly. I have a phone call coming in, but you guys are more important, and we're hanging out with the workout. It's like 15 degrees hotter in my garage than it is outside, so I'm not trying to glisten on purpose. It's just kind of happening. I guess I could turn the fan on though. Keep that gasoline smell circulating. Why does it smell like gas in your garage, Adam? Well, because you don't buy things like Fuel Line off Temu and trust their measurements. My fault. My fault.
it's just hard to pass up like $5, you know, good-looking fuel line that says it's the right size. But one thing I'm learning more and more, what people say, what packages say, what commercials say, is usually bullshit. Unfortunately, people don't do what they say, and then when you call them on it, they get mad at you for it. So, that's a handy piece of information to have going into a lot of encounters. Don't expect much from people. Be pleasantly surprised if they provide you with what you are expecting. If you do expect too much and then they disappoint you, it's a premeditated resentment, and it might not even be fair to that person. Who knows? Maybe they were raised by wolves. Maybe they had to grow up in Skid Row by themselves, and they lived in a cardboard box their entire life, and a dog was their only companion. So their social cues, their work ethic, their integrity, things of this nature are not exactly always the same or what you'd expect from people who have more of a traditional upbringing. That's not their fault. It just is. You can't go swimming in the shark tank and then get pissed off when you get bitten. Meet people where they are, understand who you're dealing with, be the change you want to see in people, and surround yourself with the kind of energy that you feel like you want to grow into. You know what I mean? I don't want to live under a bridge. I want to live in a comfortable house with, you know, a garage and a shop that I can fix my motorcycle in, and, you know, my family and kids and neighbors and stuff can play, and everything is not immaculate, but well taken care of and paid for. That's all. I've been homeless and it sucks. There's some freedom to it, but having money provides more freedom than being homeless does. Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Having a lot of money and a bunch of bills and responsibilities will still provide you more freedom than having no money, no bills, and no responsibilities. Wrap your mind around that. I cut that a rep short because I need more weight. I'm feeling a little bit frisky. So let's see if we can go big time on our last set. Big time. Well, it's 5 pounds more than my body weight for repetitions of hang cleans, so I guess it's fairly impressive, all things considered. For me, it's poodle stats, but it'll come back. Muscle memory is a wonderful thing. And this time I'm doing it with proper posture and paying attention to what my body needs in terms of movement patterns and what exercises work and what exercises don't, and not just forcing myself to squat 4 plates. So, I think that the old man muscle will end up looking better. Slowly but surely. But man, I miss being 20 and like just learning to lift and seeing those newbie gains. Good God, gaining like 20 pounds in the first couple months of lifting. Eating Jack in the Box tacos at 2 a.m. drunk, still making gains. Now I look at a milkshake and my ass will jiggle for a week. Not really, I have a pretty healthy metabolism. It jiggles on its own. Lightweight.
You over. The last minute, my vagina swelled up. I didn't believe I could do it, and I didn't. No offense to the ladies, I mean, my testicles could have also shrunk. My vagina didn't need to swell. Bottom line, I didn't commit. I didn't do what I needed to do. But that's okay. That's okay. ¿No recuerdo? Sí la vi in the morning. God damn it. I did biceps last night because I was bored and I got no pull today. No pull. Also, I haven't done these in forever, so I just have no technique. More than true story. So now what I'm going to do is break the power clean down into like segments of the power clean. Kind of try to improve my efficiency at different aspects of the movement. So this is called a silverback shrug. So that doesn't look like a huge movement, and it's not, but it works on the upper traps and it's the rhomboids. A lot of the muscles that are involved in the movement of a hang clean or clean and jerk or athletic movements. So again, it's just kind of breaking down the overall movement you want to improve at and incrementally making it better piece by piece until the entire thing gets to where you want it to be. The first person that ever squatted 800 pounds, I think he was the first person, he weighed $185. And the dude wasn't super muscular. They called him Dr. Squat because he broke down the plane of travel that a barbell goes on when you squat. And he found a way to train each little portion of that movement until he was so goddamn efficient at all of them that he squatted 800 pounds with just a weightlifting suit and knee wraps on at a body weight of 185 pounds. That's like ant status. That's pretty impressive. And this was in like the late 80s, before drugs and training were what they are today. I mean, I know, I'm well aware that people warm up with 800 pounds now. There's just monsters in the world. But for the time and for, you know, a little probably unenhanced white guy, he put up a pretty decent amount of weight. I'd be stoked to squat 800 pounds. I don't know about you. I don't think I'm there today. Maybe tomorrow. Can't even deadlift 800 pounds. Maybe 400. Maybe for a single, and I wouldn't walk for a week. But I can do 3 plates like 8 times, super clean. Those silverback shrugs felt pretty good. I'm gonna try a set out with the grips or the straps
just for shits and giggles to see if that helps or hinders my development. Because of past injuries and stuff, like my pinky fingers and some of my fingers are not straight and they don't grip the way that I would like them to. And so as a result, like I've compensated over the years by gripping more with other fingers or the other hand than doing all 10 digits symmetrically. So I try to make a conscious effort of doing that first, applying symmetrical force through all 10 digits, making sure both arms are doing the same amount of work, both feet are planted in the same manner, all 10 toes are doing the same amount of work, and then perform the lift. Because if you do those things, the efficiency of the movement is increased greatly. There's a difference. You can move the same amount of weight multiple ways, and all of them will get an A to B, but only one of them will give you maximum hypertrophy with minimal chance of injury. Put it that way.
So this is another set of silverback shrugs. I think this is going to be my last set of silverback shrugs because I have a lot of exercises on the docket today. Silverback shrugs actually wasn't even one of them.
Yeah, I prefer no straps because I can't, my right pinky and my right ring finger, I can't engage as well. As a result, I'm not even doing the movement correctly because I'm thinking about the hand. Posture suffers. Thanks, Rich, but no thanks. Plus, if you go strapless, you do get grip strength. Sometimes your grip strength will fail before like your back or your legs or a larger muscle group would, so they're useful. They have their place. But don't rely on anything. Not a belt, not gloves, not straps, definitely not a slingshot or a suit. I love people. How much you bench? 375 with a suit and a slingshot on, which means you pushed maybe 2 plates raw. You know, like, come on. Bench 375 like I am now, then put the slingshot and suit on, dude, you'll be hitting close to 5.
Because they do give you some elastic rebound. They also cut off freaking circulation to the point you can't wear the damn things longer than a couple minutes at a time, but, you know, they serve their purpose. And they're legal. More legal than steroids, which don't guarantee you strength and size. You actually have to do them right.
That set felt 100% better even though I only got 7 reps. Let's do some standing dumbbell presses. Now I really got to check my ego because I'm weak at this. Come to find out, it's because of having lifelong bad posture and having my shoulders be like this. So when I'm trying to do overhead presses, I'm pressing like this instead of standing like this, like you're supposed to, and pressing overhead where your scapulas actually move, rotate, like they're supposed to. It's amazing how efficient the body will actually work when you let it do what it's supposed to do. But we do a fantastic job of just like passively trying to kill ourselves every day. Stuff we eat, stuff we don't eat, drink, don't drink, vitamins, sleep habits, stress. Oh God, stress is probably number one. Not probably, stress is number 1. Stress will kill you. That is not a wives' tale. That is not some hippie bullshit. Like, your body produces hormones in response to stress. The same hormones that it would if a bear jumped out of the bushes and tried to eat your ass. Same hormones get produced when you're stressed out. So, you think that if you have those hormones pumping all the time, that your body's happy? No. You're not in homeostasis at all. So your body has to work to be normal to then do the daily tasks that you ask it to do. If you give it that chance and let it start at normal, you'd be surprised how easy those daily tasks become. So how do you get your body to normal? Well, it all starts in the gut. Take a probiotic. Get your gut flora on point. How do I know when that's happening? You'll take a shit at the same time every day and it'll be good consistency and you won't have to wipe for 6.5 hours. Not to be vulgar, but that's just the truth of the matter, okay? How do you accomplish that? Lots of water, decent amount of fiber, preferably from fibrous vegetables, and a good mixture of foods that agree with your body. What do I mean by agree with your body? Not everyone can eat beef. Not everyone can eat steak. Not everyone can eat eggs or nuts or you name it. So find out what works for your body by keeping a journal and just writing down what and when you eat and how you feel afterwards. I ate pasta and I feel sluggish. I feel depressed. I don't want to do anything at all. It's 1 p.m. I ate brown rice and some chicken and a salad and 1 cookie and 12 ounces of water, and I feel fucking great. I'm not tired, I'm focused, I'm performing well, I seem to be in a good mood. You know, these are not coincidences, these are results of you nourishing your beautiful body the right way. So pay attention to how you feel. Pain is a good thing. It's telling you that you need to pay attention to something and fix something. And by fix it, I don't mean get drunk or high or put a band-aid over it. I mean figure out what's hurting it, what's causing it, and fix that so it doesn't happen again. Overhead barbell press. Belly button pulled to the spine, collarbone like a 45-degree angle towards the rafters. Exhaling on the way up, inhaling on the way down. I'm going to alternate this with what's called a push press. Very similar, but I'll show you the difference here shortly. This is a 45-pound barbell. Not that that matters, but just FYI. Now the push press, we're going to go with a slightly wider grip. And we start with the barbell behind our head on our traps, where it would be for a squat, okay? But what we do, get our chest up at that angle I was talking about, get in our squat stance, and then we bend down or squat down rather about a quarter of the way of a full squat. So right about here, and then we explode, we jump. At the same time we jump, right when we get to here, we extend our shoulders and elbows and lock out, pushing the bar straight overhead. And predominantly, the force generated is coming from our legs, the bigger muscles. Believe it or not, that burns a little bit. Ooh, I had to go get a pen so I could write in my journal here. So whenever I write down my workouts, I don't ever really make a detailed
outline to follow anymore. I make kind of a list of exercises that I want to accomplish, an overall focus for what I want to do to my body, or what movement I want to work on. And then I just write down the sets, the reps, and how I feel about those sets and reps per exercise during the workout. So in other words, if I, like those last push presses, my shoulder movement felt solid as far as the rotation of my scapula. The strength of my deltoids, however, from doing chest recently was low. So the overall efficiency of the movement is great. The amount of weight that I press, it's boo-boo, but that's not the concern. Really the concern is cementing the mind-muscle connection and just the neuromuscular pathway of just snapping that movement out, like whether I'm asleep, whether I'm one eye open, whether someone else talking to me, no matter what, it just needs to come natural. Second nature. All of them. Deadlift, squat, bench press, and power clean. Those are my focal points. I will do squats. I will do snatches. However, I don't pay as much attention to them because I don't feel they're conducive to my shoulder health at heavier weights. But I do feel that they're very conducive to athletic transfer and overall athleticism and explosiveness. So doing them in more of a calisthenic fashion or with body weight or kettlebell or lightweight barbell is what I choose to do, as opposed to just Olympic lifting, throwing a lot of weight overhead. But I will tell you, nothing is prettier than watching a little person snatch a buttload of weight straight off the floor overhead, quick, fast, and hurry, nice and clean. I mean, it is amazing the mechanics that go into the proper barbell snatch. And if you watch some of the Olympic athletes, especially if you watched them this last year, my Lord, the discipline, the time, videotaping every little segment of that movement like we talked about. I mean, these guys put in work. They are not just big and strong. They are very intelligent, driven, focused athletes. Very much so. I love weightlifting. I've loved it since I was a kid because it gave me an outlet when I had no idea what to do with my angst as an 11, 12, 13-year-old. And then I loved it because I got better at sports. And then I loved it because it made me look better and I felt like it got me respect. And then I loved it because of the science and how it actually affected my mental well-being and the way that I was perceived at my job and in society. And the example I set for my kid and all the people around me, and it just changed my life, and it's become who I am. Do I need to be yoked out, 10% body fat, 250 pounds? Not anymore. I thought I needed to at one point. Pretty much now, as long as I can move fairly pain-free and look good naked and everything works, it's a win, So I enjoy food, I enjoy training, but at this point in my life, it's more fun for me to find a 19 to 25-year-old athlete that's got that fire, that's really gifted, than it is for me to try to chase my own physical, goals anymore. I mean, I still have my own goals, but I'm not under any impression that I'm going to be like the best in the world at anything physical necessarily. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it is what it is. But I could be the best Adam Coleman that I can be at everything, for sure. Now I'm going to use the kettlebell to burn my shoulders out a little bit.
So that was a kettlebell hand clean, 3 push presses, and then what I call openers, which is essentially for rotator cuff, front deltoid, middle deltoid. This is a squat to upright row. These I call full moon laterals because they go up in a wide moon shape. But if you notice, my palms are facing forward, and I'm trying my best to lift from my middle deltoid. The angle in my elbow doesn't change, so I'm not activating my tricep, I'm activating my deltoid as best as possible. And right now it is working, I can show you that. It hurts real good. I lean into these laterals a little bit to make gravity work for me, or rather against me. Trying to focus right on that middle, right over where that Superman tattoo is. Alright, now I'm going to use the rear deltoids, which I'll do with the same weight. Hinge the waist, tighten up the core. I'm going to switch to unilateral because that allows me, sometimes when I'm fatigued, to focus better on the individual muscle contraction, so I don't end up just hucking the weight up and going through the movement like we talked about. I'm isolating the muscle, getting the best contraction that I possibly can. Now this is just battle of attrition. Make it hurt. Which I'm pretty good at. Man, look.
heavy, but it'll do the job. Those are 20s. Ideally, probably like a 10, 12 and a half would probably be more appropriate. So I'm having to flex my neck a little bit too much, but at this point, it's really more about to make it hurt, so. I'll stretch my traps and scalenes later. Then I forget about the good old front raise. And if you want to make that more difficult and be even more of an asshole to yourself. Wow. Doing this to rest and keep blood moving at the same time, because my shoulders are telling me, go fornicate yourself with an iron stick in a big way. Well, that's what we want. Beat them down, beat them right, make them broke. Ooh. Push. 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 Oh, and I can hear my favorite thing in the world, the most useless invention ever, a gas-powered leaf blower. In a world where we can do a brain transplant, we're still strapping a jet engine to a Mexican's back and having him move dirt around with gasoline. What the actual fuck? I don't know. And it's not because he's Mexican. I don't care who you strap it to. I've used a leaf blower. It's pointless. Mine's electric, but it's equally useless.